feeder creeks and streams of our dams and our estuaries provide some top-class freshwater fishing. Today I'm sitting on the western side of the Great Divide in New South Wales, and I'm sitting on the system that supplies water to Pindari Dam. It's very, very well known for its Murray Cod population, which are one of our more iconic freshwater species. It's skinny water in parts, very hard to get to, which is why I'm sitting in a native watercraft 12.5 Mariner. The idea being, get the boat in anywhere you can and go exploring and try to find one of these great little fish to play with. Let's go see what we can turn up. It's just starting to get trapped by the serenity of this place. The birds having a chat and the quietness, and then I thought I saw a little shadow coming up behind that spinnerbait then. A great big paddle tail turned and nearly threw water at me. There you go. They're here. They're a little bit tentative at the moment. I've had half an hour or so of casting, and I've gone to something which is designed to make them wake up. One of the TT spinnerbaits. Loud and flashy. I reckon when the cod are a little bit subdued, they're territorial enough that you put something in their space that makes a lot of clutter and flash, there's a fair chance you're going to get a response. That's a good sign I'm doing something right. Always worth putting another cast right back into the same spot. Oh, yep. Oh yes. Back in the same spot. Oh yeah, come on. And there we have him. Good little start to the day. Our first Severn Murray Cod for Sportfish DVD. Special fish, you can see why a lot of anglers spend a lot of time chasing them. Beautifully marked, a big paddle tail, those white tips, made for camouflage, and a head that's bullet shaped with a really big mouth. Tells you how they feed. They're quite happy to eat big things. Now that thing's hit a spinnerbait half his size, but that shows you how aggressive that it can be. Now, I don't think he was the one that came up and chased me before, which means it's a good sign. That little bank might be holding a few fish. So I'll get him back, see if I can go and extract another one. A lot of activity on the water, big boulders, undercut banks, shade, a little bit of running water, but a little bit of deep water thrown in there. Beautiful mix for high country cod. Yep, yes, that's a better fish. Came out a couple of cracks of that. Whoa, really shallow little part of river there with weed sticking out the top of it. So in the back of my brain went, it's got to be a really good spot for shrimp to hang. And it's not, I could see how shallow it was, so I really buzzed the spinnerbait through it, and I got a couple of big cracks, and then this magnificent looking fish. Isn't that spectacular? It is truly a special experience to get up into this high country in New South Wales, get into shallow cod water. I fished a lot of the deep stuff down around central New South Wales, far western New South Wales. To get in a little yak and explore, push yourself through rapids and encounter these brutally aggressive freshwater fish in shallow water. Very, very memorable fishing. Here we go. There you go, and that's just doing the damage at the moment. You can see this watercolours, it's not crystal clear. Had a few rains, it's murkied it up a little bit, and quite often you'll have a system that's got that tannin coloured water, and it's a good option then to put a bit of flash and vibration into the water. Give the fish every chance they can to try and get out there and find it. One of our very, very cool freshwater sports fish. And you can see just by the shape of their body, so often a fish give you a really good clue as to how to fish for them just by their shape. You can see this guy, he hasn't got a pelagic tail, he's got a big paddle tail. He's got broad shoulders, narrow head and a big mouth. He's made for really short bursts of speed. With that colour, you know he's going to sit close to home. He's going to sit and ambush himself. I've watched these fish in tanks and they'll sit very, very still, just the slightest movement of fins and those eyes always working. The moment something tasty comes within range and annoys them, it all happens in a second. You often very can't see them eat, they're that quick. But that's the trick to catching them. Put it into where they are and try and bother them. These sorts of skinny water cod fisheries are strongly protected by the anglers that live here and spend most of their time fishing, and with good reason. They're unique, and there's only so many fish that are going to live in a system like this, which is why I very much believe in coming, having some fun catching a few fish and leaving them there for another day to grow big and do their thing. Here we go. Oh, see you later. All right, the fish is starting to get bigger. Day's warming up. I reckon another fish around the next bend. Fix that spinnerbait right up into the shade there. Sweet. The tree's pretty simple here. It's all about the cast. And the benefit of using bait cast gear, you can watch the lure in the air, and as it's getting close to landing right tight against the structure, you can use your thumb to slow it up and just let it slide into where you want it to land. The idea being that if a fish is holding tight on structure and this bright flashing object suddenly appears in its space, you're going to hopefully tempt it just to lash out in almost frustration and instinct rather than have a good long look at it. And the key is watching those casts and putting them right tight in the spot that you think the fish are going to be. Different days you're going to find that'll be different structure. Sometimes it's riffles and rock country, other times it's undercut banks. Just work out on any day where they're going to be and then get those casts in there. Don't be shy. A lure like a spinnerbait's pretty snag resistant. Encourages you to get it right in there. You're not going to catch the fish out in the open water. It's going to be up tight. So make sure you get it in there and then vary your speeds on any day till you work out the fish you're going to want. Oh, look at the boil he left. That was a good fish, followed it all the way out. There's a big submerged tree under here. I've missed one fish and just had another one followed out from the tail end of the tree. There's a pretty good lesson there that sometimes if you've missed a fish, don't be fooled into thinking that's the only one there. These fish are competitive and they're going to look for the best spot. You might sometimes find that in a snag, the biggest fish has got the prime spot, but then there'll be a few smaller fish sitting in other places just waiting for that big guy to disappear, move on, so they can get prime spot. So just because you've missed a fish in one spot of the snag, don't be shy about hitting a few casts in other spots around it just to get those other competitors. Oh, yep. There we go. Oh yes. Oh. We're on tip stuff. Brilliant. Oh. This is what happens when you get down level with the fish. He says you're in my park. Now I'm going to throw a bit of water your way. Oh. Well, they hit like a ton of bricks. They're made for power, these fish. And there's something electrifying about rolling a spinnerbait out of this kind of country, having it getting belted at your feet. I think you just about turn the nose of the kayak around when you hit it that hard. Oh, lovely fish. Certainly the catalyst to getting these bites at the moment, a bit of rattle and flash. Fishing a mixture of 3/8 ounce and 1/2 ounce spinnerbaits. I saw the boys before I came down here and they went, Nige, if you're going up that way, highly recommend the purple skirt. So I'm not one to look in the face of some good advice. Put on the purple skirt, the fish are liking it. Get this fish out of the water and you can have a closer look at it. There you have it. Little predator of the Severn. Spinnerbait munching cod. And what a wonderful way to catch them. Just gently paddling away up a river, throwing at all the likely looking spots and rolling it out. There you go, he's brutalised that spinnerbait. He's all arced up, still throwing some angry fins at me. He's ready to go back and join his mates, and that's exactly where he's going. Lovely. Well, every few hundred metres now we're coming across fish. This makes me keen to go and see what the next few hundred metres offers. Straight on it. That's a reaction bite if ever I've seen one. Oh yes, look at that. Pitch this little spinnerbait, just throwing right on the edge of that bit of timber with a bit of shade onto the head of this pool. And I reckon I engaged that reel. This fish was all over it. Whew, it's exciting stuff. Here we go. Oh, there we have it. Just the ability then to be able to position myself and hold myself in some current, pedaling forward and backwards, and just making a key cast. Landed it right on the structure. This guy was all over it. Classic reaction bite. It's the benefit of getting those casts in the right spot. Look at that. Got a pretty strong wind at the moment, blowing me up into this face, and I don't really want to make my cast and have time to get my retrieve in, so I don't really want to charge up onto it. And the benefit of having a system that lets me pedal backwards is I can almost hold the kayak and hold it in one spot and work this lure away from the spot that I most want to fish. Days when you're fishing with the wind onto a shoreward bank, which is very often the best place to fish, you don't want to cast right into the key spot, and then by the time you start retrieving, you suddenly find you and your boat are sitting on top of where the fish are. The ability to be able to control the forward and backward motion of a kayak, pretty key for a lure casting angler to keep bait in the right spot and lure in there. Fishing out of the native watercraft 12.5 Mariner today, and it comes with a couple of very handy features if you're into your kayak fishing. And one of those is the ability to be able to stand up. It's got a twin style hull which gives it a huge amount of stability, and there's some moulded steps in the cabin of the kayak which allow you to stand up very comfortably. And the benefit is, A, when you're sitting down for a long time, it does get a bit uncomfortable, so it allows you to stand up and have a bit of a break, but also sometimes when you're fishing some shoreline structure and you need a little bit more of a vantage point, it does help to stand up and make your cast count a little bit more sometimes. So having a kayak that allows you the ability to stand up, very powerful thing. Oh, yep, yeah, come on, come on, oh yes. Oh yes, woo, crunched it. Pitched it right on that bank side, and he has come and buried that spinnerbait. Oh, they're a lot of fun. The sensitivity of these rods makes them all the more fun, and just the whole practice of pitching these spinnerbaits up tight, feeling everything that's going on, much, much easier. Today I'm using one of the Wilson stable of rods. It's a live fibre territory, it's 6 kilos. Bait cast outfit obviously, and it's ideal for this sort of stuff. A little Abu bait cast loaded up with 10-pound braid. I've got a 20 and 30-pound leaders on these rods. Fluorocarbon, because we're obviously fishing around a lot of granite boulders which throw out a lot of abrasion to your line, so you want a bit of abrasion resistance, so the fluorocarbon does a good job. And there you go, simple outfit, simple approach. Get it right, it's a whole lot of fun. Look at that. Seem to know where their home rock is. Sometimes, they're not 10 to 20 pound fish, but they're pretty good at getting home with that short bit of distance, and that's the benefit of having a kayak where you can propel yourself backwards. And it doesn't matter where you're fishing, whether you're chasing jacks in the snags, freshwater fish like this around their structure, the ability to be able to pedal backwards and tow a fish back into open water, it's going to help you win a lot of those battles. It's a very attractive feature of this particular style of kayak. Look at that. Scoff that. Oh yeah. Isn't that beautiful? Small water Murray cod fishing is something that I think every angler should have a go at least once in their lifetime. To come up here, explore some new water. I found it through looking at Google, common area, travelling stock route, easy access to the public. small boat lets me get in off the beaten track and get up into the tight spots to come along and encounter one of our more prized freshwater fish. And on that note, sky's starting to cloud up a bit, the forecast for showers. I don't particularly want to be going home on wet dirt roads. I think I'm going to let this guy go to go and get bigger, so I can come back and see you again another day. I'm going to get out of here. There you go.
It's Bill Klassen here from The Fishing Show, and if you like this instructional video and want to learn more, it's simple. Go to fishingshowtv.com.au and see a whole host of additional videos.